Hey there, welcome to this tutorial on how to code Tic Tac Toe from scratch using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this would be a great video for beginners who are new to web development and maybe know the basics. In this video, we're going to learn how to style elements with CSS and use JavaScript to make elements interactive. So you can see here we have our Tic Tac Toe board. If I click on a tile, you can see it changes and it places an O there. And if I click on another one, it alternates. So we have an X there. I click on another one and we have an O. If there's a winner, you can see that the tiles for the winner is going to be changed to gray and the font is going to be changed to red. So after a winner is declared, you won't be able to click anymore. If I refresh it, let's see if I can make it tie. So let's place an O here. So if there's a tie, then there's no winner and you can't click anymore. So yeah, those would be the conditions for where the game ends. You have a winner or there's a tie. The board is filled. That's it, game over. Alright, so I have my Visual Studio Code. You can use whatever editor you want. So I'm just going to create 3 files, tic-tac-toe.html, tic-tac-toe.css, and tic-tac-toe.js. So you can go to the folder where your files are and just double click on the HTML and you can see we have our blank HTML file. Alright, so let's start. HTML, we're going to start with our head, meta, charset, UTF-8, and then meta name, viewport, content, width equals device width, initial scale equals 1.0 and user scalable equals no. And then let's add a title. So we're going to name it Tic Tac Toe. And then let's link our style sheet and JavaScript code. So link style sheet href is going to be tic-tac-toe.css. And our script source tic-tac-toe.js. Alright, so that's it for the head. Let's work on the body. So let's add a header, h1, tic-tac-toe. Let's add a horizontal line. And let's add a break line. And then we're going to create our 3x3 board here. So div ID, we're going to set it to board. And we're going to use JavaScript to populate this board and add tiles where users can click on them. Alright, so that's it for HTML. If we go back to our page and refresh, you can see we have our title up here, we have our header, and we have our horizontal line. And you can't see the board yet because we haven't styled it, given it a width and height. So we're going to do that now. Alright, so let's begin styling. So let's start with the body. Let's change the font to Arial. And let's align the text so that everything is centered. Let's also style the horizontal line. So let's make it shorter so that it doesn't go across the screen. So let's make it 500 pixels. Let's also give it a height of 3 pixels and we'll fill that color with black. Okay. And now for our board, since we're using an ID, we're going to use hash board. And let's make the width 450 pixels and height 450 pixels. And for now, let's set the background color to yellow so you can see where it is. Alright, so you can see we have our title, tic-tac-toe, and we have the horizontal line, and we also have our board. So we need to center our board as well. So let's do margin 0 auto, display flex, flex wrap, wrap. Alright, now our board is centered. Within our board, because it is 3x3, we're going to have 9 tiles. So I'm going to have a tile class. And because the board is 450 pixels wide and tall, each tile, since we have 3 of them, 450 divided by 3, we would make it 150 pixels. However, we want to make room for the dividing lines. So we're going to make it 147 pixels. And let's also style the text within the tile. So font size, let's make it 150 pixels, display flex, and let's center it. So justify content center, and align items center. So this will center it horizontally and vertically. All right, let's add our horizontal lines. So this is simply border bottom, 3 pixels, solid black. And our vertical lines, border right, 3 pixel, solid black. All right, so over here, you can see the width is going to be 450 pixels and the height as well. And each one is going to be 147 pixels because the next border here is going to be 3 pixels. So together it is 150 pixels. And finally, let's apply a style for the winner. So we're going to have winner class, background color. We're going to make it light gray. And we're going to change the font color to red. All right, so that's it for our styling. All right, so now on to our JavaScript code. So before we begin writing the code, let's talk about how we're going to design it. So as you can see, we have a 3x3 board and we have 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So these are the indices for the row and column. And this is what you see on the web page in HTML, and this is JavaScript. And when we use JavaScript to populate our board, we're going to give each tile an ID. So this would have an ID of 0, 0. This would have an ID of 0, 1, 0, 2. This would have 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. And when a user clicks on a tile, for instance, 1, 1, we know which tile is clicked on and we can get the ID 1, 1. And we're going to take this and extract the individual numbers so that we can get 1, 1. And then we can apply the change to the board. And every time a tile gets clicked on, so if I put in O here, we make a check. So every time we update the board, we make a check to see if there's a winner. So we check horizontally and vertically, as well as the diagonals to see if there are any 3 in a row. If so, we apply the winner class style to those 3 tiles. All right, so let's begin coding in JavaScript. So we have our board, and then we're going to have player O go to O, and player X. And we're going to have current player. We'll have it start at player O. So it's going to alternate every time a tile is clicked. So it starts with player O, then player X, then back to player O. And we're going to have a bool for game over. All right, now we're going to do window.onload is equal to function. So when the page loads, we're going to call this function, and we're going to have set game. And let's define set game. And this will populate the tiles into the board. So our board is going to be a 3x3 array with a blank string. So let's just copy and paste this. Okay, and then we're going to use a double for loop. So for let r equals 0, r less than 3, r plus plus. For let c equals 0, c less than 3, c plus plus. We're going to create a div, so document.create element div. So what this does is we created a div tag here so far. And we're going to set the ID to r.toString plus the dash plus c.toString. So now our div looks like this. So it starts with 0, 0, then 0, 1, 0, 2, and so on. And let's also add the style class to tile. So class list.add tile. And we're also going to make a check to see whether we should apply the horizontal line, the bottom border, or vertical line, the bottom right, depending on where the tile is. So if the row is 0 or 1, we apply a horizontal line style. And if the column is 0 or 1, we apply the vertical line style. So if r equals 0 or r equals 1, tile.classList.add horizontal line. If column equals 0 or column equals 1, tile.classList.add vertical line. And then we're going to do document.getElement by ID board.append tile. So it's going to take this code, this div tag that we create, and insert it within this board. And it's going to do it 9 times. All right, so when we refresh, you can see we have our 9 tiles, and we have the horizontal lines and vertical lines. So now I don't need this background color anymore because you know where the tiles are. So let's get rid of it. Okay, there you go. Now we need to make each tile clickable. So what we're going to do is add an event listener. So when it's clicked, we call a function, setTile. All right, let's define that function. Function setTile. So first we check if game over. Basically, when there's a winner, we set game over to true. Otherwise, it's false. We return. So if game is over, we make each tile unclickable because we won't do anything. We just exit the function right away. Let's get the coordinates of each tile when we click on it. So that chords equal to this. So this refers to the current tile that you clicked on. This.id.split. So if the ID were 1, 1, it would split by that dash and create an array of 2 strings, 1, 1. So we need to convert each one to an integer. So let r is equal to parse int of chords 0. And let c equal to parse int of chords 1. And then we're going to mark the board, current player. And we also need to update the HTML. So this.innerText is equal to current player. So we update the board in JavaScript and we update the board on the web page. So now if I click on something, you can see I have a circle here and they're all circles. So we need to alternate this. So if current player is equal to player X or player O, then we're going to set current player to player X. Else we do the opposite. All right, so now we click, you can see it alternates. Now we also have a problem, and that is I didn't check to see if that tile already had a value on it. So I can't alternate like this, and we don't want that to happen. So before we apply the changes, we have to check. If board RC is not equal to a blank spot, we return. Okay, so let's try again. And you can see we can't alternate anymore. We can't click on the same spot. And finally, every time we apply a change to the board, we want to see if there's a winner. So we're going to call a check winner function. And let's define it here. And this is where our JavaScript board comes in handy. So we're using this as a reference. So let's check horizontally. For let r equals 0, r less than 3, r plus plus. If board of r0 is equal to board of r1, and board of r1 is equal to board of r2, and we have to make sure that they're not empty. So board r0 is not equal to an empty string or the blank space. We're going to apply the winner style to each of those tiles. So for let I equals 0, I less than 3, I plus plus, let tile is equal to document.getElement by ID. So we have r.toString plus the dash and the column, so I.toString. And then we're going to set game over to true. Or actually, we need to do it outside here. And then let's also return from the function so we don't have to check the other conditions like vertically and diagonally. So you can see if I have 3 in a row, oh, I forgot to add the winner. Dot class list dot add winner. So we have to add the styling so we can see it. But you can see I can't click on anything. So we know it works logically, but we just didn't see it update visually. So let's do it again. And you can see we have our winner. All right, so let's make the check for vertical and diagonal. So vertically. So for let c equals 0, c less than 3, c++. If board of 0c equals to board of 1c, and board of 1c is equal to board of 2c, and board of c0 is not equal to a white space, then we're going to do the same thing here. So for let I equals 0, I less than 3, I++, let tile equals document.getElement by ID, I to string, plus the dash, plus c.toString. And we're going to apply the style class of winner. Set the game over to true and return. So now let's try it vertically, and you can see we have a winner. Can't click anywhere else. All right, now let's do it diagonally. And this one is much simpler. So if board of 0, 0 is equal to board of 1, 1, and board of 1, 1 is equal to board of 2, 2, and board of 0, 0 is not equal to the white space, then we're going to do for let I equals 0, I less than 3, I++, let tile equals document.getElement by ID, I.toString, plus the dash, I.toString again. And we're going to change the class list and add the winner. Game over equals true and return. All right, so let's refresh and we can see we have our winner here. Now the only thing that remains is anti-diagonally, so it's the other diagonal. So anti-diagonally, and that is if board of 0, 2 equals board of 1, 1, and board of 1, 1 is equal to board of 2, 0, and board of 0, 2 is not equal to the white space. Let's start with 0, 2, and we're going to do let tile is equal to document.getElement by ID 0, 2. And we're going to add the winner. And let's do the same for 1, 1. So tile equals document.getElement by ID 1, 1. And we're going to set the tile class, add winner. And let's do the same thing for 2, 0. And then we'll set game over to true and return. All right. So let's try it. And you can see we have our winner here. Okay, so let's recap. Okay. I made a bug here. So instead of C0, it should be 0C. Right, so because column goes after row. All right, let's recap. We have horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and anti-diagonal. Okay, so our tic-tac-toe game is complete. So if you found this tutorial helpful, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know down below and I'll respond to them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.